Hello, I'm Jim Eskin. On behalf of Eskin Fundraising Training, it's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you to this special webcast addressing a timely topic facing the nonprofit sector and society in general. We are proud to make it available through our Constant Contact database and through social media to a growing learning community of professional and volunteer nonprofit leaders nationwide, composed of CEOs, executive directors, directors of development, and other staff, board members, donors, and other friends of the magnificent nonprofit community that every day touches, improves, and saves more lives, especially helping those who are struggling. We appreciate your leadership, your service, and your passion to champion good works. We mean to make it clear at the outset here that unlike our other broadcasts, which are interactive, this is not, and you will not have the opportunity to share questions or comments. Today, we are highlighting an essential component of the way we pave a brighter and stronger and more socially just future. The cornerstone of our progress has been and always will be one of the most precious commodities: leadership. With strong leadership, we can overcome virtually any challenge and make the most of opportunities. We're thrilled to feature as our special guest a remarkable individual who knows about leadership from those three essential sectors: government, business, and nonprofits. More than ever before, these sectors need to effectively strategize how to work together to improve the quality of life. Let's be honest, the current environment is not good. Our nation is alarmingly divided and polarized. Unfortunately, this goes beyond parties, candidates, and different viewpoints. It has escalated to the point of disliking, mistrusting, and being unwilling to even work or talk to those who have different viewpoints. What's worse, we are experiencing acts of violence and taking the lives of people every day, threatening men, women, and children throughout the country. The situation has grown so severe that these acts of violence and hatred occur virtually daily. Bringing people of different socioeconomic backgrounds and ideological and philosophical viewpoints, she has written and spoken pointedly on the challenge. It is difficult to adequately introduce the remarkable Honorable Marina Alderete Gavito. She is a genuine Wonder Woman. And I like to say I have the best local council representative on the planet,
Thank
and
you.
I do.
Yeah.
And we've expressly chosen her because she has demonstrated leadership in those three sectors: government, business, and nonprofits. We are just so jealous of how much she has accomplished so early in her life. In 2023, she was elected to the San Antonio City Council for District 7. She was reelected by a wide margin in 2025, and she has quickly proved herself as a champion of a better quality of life for District 7 and all of San Antonio's more than 1.5 million citizens. Before being elected to public office, Marina served as executive director of SA Digital Connects, an organization focused on addressing the digital divide in San Antonio and Bexar County. Prior to SA Digital Connects, Marina's career focused on tech and Fortune 500 companies, including Rackspace and USAA, and she led cross-departmental teams addressing complex problems and driving successful business outcomes. She is also the founding executive director of TechBlock and has successfully advocated for rideshare while increasing membership to over 5,000 people. I don't know how she does everything she does. She is the mother of two, and among all her leadership responsibilities, she still finds the time to be a very competitive marathon runner. Mother Teresa proudly stated that the greatest good what we do is the good we do for others.
Mhm.
Marina has lived, breathed, and celebrated this attitude all her life. During this program, we want to take full advantage of Marina's rich perspective on leading in government, business, and nonprofits, and her fierce commitment to the notion that leaders should be role models of civility and bring out the best in people. Mia, what do you say we get into a simple Q&A?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, let's start out with a basic question.
Sure.
Again, you've been in the three sectors,
Yeah.
okay, of government, business, and nonprofits. What do you think the three sectors share in common?
Yeah.
And what do you think leading in the three sectors are different?
Yeah. So that's a great question. I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me is how relationships are king, right? You have to have good working relationships to get things done in government. You have to have good working relationships to get things done in business. And you have to have good working relationships to get things done in the nonprofit sector. And so, whether it's belonging to a team or leading a team, relationships are so
Hmm.
important.
Hmm.
Building trust and respect from people. As a former executive director, building trust with
Hmm.
donors or potential donors, right? Letting them know what you and your team are capable of. Obviously, in government, working with my council colleagues is so important. And then, obviously, in the business world, building trust with your team and getting things done that you say you're going to get done is critically important. But I
Do
think
you think your nonprofit experience was useful in preparing to be serve on city council?
absolutely,
How so?
absolutely. But prior to that, I was in corporate
Right.
America, loved it. But seeing the need that nonprofits fill in our city was important. Understanding the donor relationships.
Hmm.
I loved the scrappy nature of nonprofits. We're sure your title can be executive director, but you're doing all the things
Yeah.
for the nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I loved building that team and getting things done. I loved my experience as a nonprofit leader. I always say that after, I'm done with public service, I'm going back to nonprofit sector because it's very purposeful work. It's
Mhm.
meaningful work. And again, I kind of like the scrappy nature of it all.
Hey, let's get around the record on that. What skill sets do you think leaders in those three different sectors can learn from one another?
Yeah. Um, I think that, you know, the some of the big skill sets is again being a good people leader is important. One of the things that I learned at Rackspace, Graham Weston, is
Ah,
there, and he had a quote. I'm gonna probably butcher the quote, but basically it said something to the effect of what we all want is to be a valued member
mm,
of a winning team on an inspiring mission.
yeah.
I thought that was so important. Everybody wants to feel valued in their role. You want to be part of a winning team, right? You want to be, doing things right, and you want to be on an inspiring mission. And so, whether that was in the business world or in the nonprofit sector, or even now, I always have that quote in my mind to say, "How do I rally the troops to get us on whatever mission we're set out for?"
You've been in each of them. How can these three sectors more effectively collaborate with each other to improve the quality of life for everyone?
Yeah, I think that nonprofits serve such a critical role in our city, right? They provide services that, quite frankly, the city cannot do.
Yeah, they fill gaps.
They fill gaps, absolutely. Businesses play a pivotal role in that in the philanthropic giving to these nonprofits. Uh, I think that we should in San Antonio, we need to do a better job of working together in a coordinated fashion to say what problems are we trying to solve together. I think one of the bigger opportunities I see is the opportunity between the city and the county to work together.
Yeah.
Hey, what are y'all doing for domestic violence? What are y'all doing for homelessness? Instead, I feel that we're both spread very thin
Mm.
with the funding, and I think that we could be more strategic as a city and county together.
Okay. You've been on city council now for seems like a lifetime, 2 terms, right?
Yes,
From
yeah, 2 years,
23.
yeah.
Okay. What has given you the most satisfaction from working so hard as an elected public official?
Yeah, I think it's about getting things done for residents, going back to them and saying, "We got that problem solved for you." It's when I was looking at running for office, I looked at where my skill set would be the most valuable, whether it's gonna be at local level, state level, or the federal level. And I was very much drawn to the local level, for that fact that we have the least amount of barriers, I would say, to get things done for our residents. So, helping solve a problem in our residents' life has been very meaningful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marina, it's not easy to be a donor. Um, you put in the excruciatingly difficult position of not choosing between the good and the bad, choosing between the good and the good. And I'm a big statistics nut,
Yeah.
and there are 1.5 million nonprofits in the United States,
Uh-huh.
100,000 in Texas, and probably over 3,000 in the San Antonio region alone. You've been in the nonprofit sectors. What do you see as the opportunities for greater collaboration,
Mhm.
greater coordination, and greater communication?
Yeah, that's a great question. I definitely think that our nonprofit sector needs to hone in on that greater collaboration, coordination, and communication. What we don't want is to see more and more nonprofits spin up with duplicative efforts, right? So many nonprofits' missions are noble and worthy. And when they're going after the same dollar,
Yeah.
they're spending a lot of that effort on fighting for that dollar instead of the actual cause itself, right? And so, I'd love to see our nonprofit sector, strategize and the left hand know what the right hand is doing. So that way we're focusing more on moving the needle rather than fighting each other for funding.
Now, I know that you have both written and spoken on this topic. How do we explain the growing ugliness exhibited more and more all around the country? Our parents and grandparents knew how to get along, and they could disagree without being disagreeable.
Yeah.
And I think we're falling far short of their standards.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, one of the things that I have enjoyed is I'm part of what's called the Texas Lyceum. It's
Yeah.
basically a
Yes.
Texas
Yes.
leadership
Yeah.
organization, and we always talk about civil discourse, right? There are lots, well, I would say lots of opposing opinions in that group. And really, they will host conferences. We talk about very controversial items like immigration, right? And they bring in speakers uh, with all different viewpoints. We have a discussion. We're going back and forth. And then at the end of the day, we're all having dinner and toasting with a glass of wine.
Breaking head.
Yes, breaking bread. And I think that civil discourse is missing. People are behind their keyboards online and forgetting how to treat people like people. And so it's unfortunate. I think, there's big ways and small ways we could solve this. One of the small ways that we're solving this in District 7 is we'll have this event called Hooked on Fun. And it's at the Woodlawn Lake Casting Pond. And we invite all the kids, not only just District 7 kids, all of them to come out. We provide them a fishing pole. We stock the lake with fish, get them off their screens and like just talking to each other. So those are the little ways that we can help. Again, just put down the screens and have a conversation. And respect different viewpoints and learn to listen to different viewpoints. And I think a lot has been lost, unfortunately, in that area. But it's about teaching our kids and teaching the next generation that you can agree to disagree, and that's actually okay.
Yeah, I
And
think that's good.
yeah, it's good. Um, but again, I feel that COVID probably didn't help either. But a lot of people just kind of
They
got
cocooned.
they cocooned, exactly. And block walking when I'm campaigning offered me a unique perspective in that I was going to the front doors of several people, talking to them. And unfortunately, what I saw is that so many people were staying inside, right? But also watching the news, whatever news station it is. Sometimes I think it's all entertainment news, right? And then believing that crime was just happening right outside their door. And I was like, it's not. You can come out, go to the park. We're actually okay here. Um, and so really just trying to get people out, get them off their devices, and having a conversation, I think is the first step. Yeah.
How do you think leaders in government, business, and nonprofits can model civility and influence good behavior among the general population?
Yeah, I think it is about treating each other with respect, you know? I mean, so many times I think we're seeing these viral videos of elected officials, no matter where it is, just clashing, and it really it's not healthy, right? I think at the end of the day, for any of my council colleagues, no matter what their opinion is, I very much respect the fact that they are a public servant, right? They are just trying to do what they believe is the right thing for their residents. And having that foundational respect for my colleagues, I think is important. And then obviously treating each other with respect, taking time to build those relationships. I'm in my council colleagues' offices all the time, talking to them. Hey, this is what we're thinking about this problem. Picking up the phone, calling them on my way home, saying, hey, what are you thinking about this? And when I'm asking them what they're thinking about this, truly being open, and hearing what they're having to say. So again, I think going back to the first question, it's about relationships and respectful relationships at that. Yeah,
Mm. We have to ask this question.
sure.
You're a nonstop city council
Yeah,
member, a mother of two. What was it, 10
yeah,
and 6? I
yeah,
forget.
yeah, that's right.
And a marathon runner.
Yeah.
Where do you find the energy to do all these things?
Well, I wake up really early and have a lot of coffee.
About what more time do you wake up in the morning?
I'm usually up by 5,
Okay.
running, working out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like early morning
Yes,
runs?
I'm a morning person.
Okay. Okay. I like early morning swims. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I do it outdoor. I don't know. I have maybe another month of that.
Yeah.
We keenly appreciate your commitment to the success of the nonprofit sector.
Yeah.
What suggestions do you have for our audience? There's so many nonprofits out there. And I like to say you're not choosing between the good and the bad, you're
Right.
choosing between the good and the good.
Yeah.
But what advice do you have for our audience to pick a cause that they can contribute gifts of time, talent, and
Yeah.
treasure?
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that there are so many wonderful nonprofits who have very noble missions. I do think it's important for nonprofits to show what and how they're using their money, their gifts.
Yeah.
Um, they have to report out
Hmm.
to donors. Sometimes that's hard because of the squishy nature of the work that they're doing,
Yeah.
but donors need to feel
Hmm.
that their money is moving the needle,
Yeah.
and that's not a bad thing, right?
It's a great thing.
Yes, and we talk about met
Competition's good.
yes, we talk about metrics and we talk about key
Right.
performance indicators. And sometimes I felt in the nonprofit sector, they're like, but how? And
Yeah.
there's a way.
Yeah.
There's a way, And so that's what I learned how to do as a nonprofit executive directors, show my results.
Right.
And then I think the money will flow in. But I also think that one of the important things is we need business people to serve on nonprofit boards. We need business people to serve on city council.
And I always like to say, you know, time is actually a more precious gift than money.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because unlike money, you can never replace time.
That I totally agree with that, and I understand the difficult decision it is for a business person to take their time to serve on nonprofits or even to serve on city council. Those are very hard decisions to make, but they can go a long way, because I think sometimes when you're in corporate America, you take for granted your business skill set,
Yeah.
but it is truly beneficial to nonprofits and to city government. Yeah.
This is one of our favorite questions to ask guests. If you could travel back in time, what advice would you give your 21-year-old self?
Oh, wow. What advice would I give my 21-year-old self? I think in corporate America, I struggled for a while because it was a very male-dominated industry, and if there was a moment where I thought, I don't think I can make an
And
impact here.
particularly in technology.
Yeah, in tech, right? I didn't, I struggled for a while of how I could make an impact. I wish I would have known sooner that I could have had an impact and started earlier, but here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look how far you come so,
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Well, this interview, as we thought, just has flown by.
Yeah.
And we want to express our sincere gratitude to our role model of leadership in government, business, and nonprofits, Marina Alderete Gavito, for her time and also her strong leadership in fighting for a more prosperous, healthier, and safer and civil community. I wanted to, I mean, again, I'm a little jealous of how much she's achieved so young in life. And I maybe want to be the first to tag her with a nickname. And so I want to give her my nickname for Marina Alderete Gavito is MAG.
MAG.
You're MAG. I want to say I was the first to call her
Yeah.
MAG, okay?
Yep.
And
take it.
our sincere thanks to everyone in our virtual learning community of professional and volunteer nonprofit leaders. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And be well.
Thank you. Thanks so much.